Hello everyone. Welcome back for another fabulous Friday idea. My project today is how to show you don't have to have a lot of supplies to make great cards. We all started out at one time or another and we didn't have a lot of supplies. So with this, I'm going to show you how with just a few dies and some paper, you can create a great card. For today's card, I am using a white card base. I have a layer of Orchid Oasis, and I have a layer of white that's slightly smaller than the Orchid Oasis. So some people make 5x7 cards. I make the 4.5 by 4.25 by 5.5 size. For my dies, I pulled out my Paper Florist dies. I hadn't played with them in a while. And in there was this leaf, so I cut out a leaf. There was the 4 flower shapes. I only needed a large and a small white and a large Orchid Oasis, so I only cut those. And then I cut out this sprocket looking thing for the center of the flower. Then I used the cheerful daisies and I cut out, I love this image. I don't know why. It's one that appeals to me. This die, I use it a lot. Then I pulled in textured florals and I didn't want the whole thing, so I only cut like this side of it. And what I'm going to do is I will trim up this side off of it, and I'll show you how I do that. So with that, let's get started. One of the things you can do, and I'm going to use my scoreboard. This card was inspired by one that I saw online that Pauline Blythe did. And I loved the way she did it, so I decided to do my version. All right, one of the things you can do if you don't have a lot of supplies is to add some scoring to your cards. Let me move these so I don't lose them. I put them on the different side, and that's not a good idea. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm pulling out my scoreboard. Now you can do the same thing with your trimmer if it has a scoring blade in it. And I'm going to start at an 1/2 inch, and I usually go down 3 times because I want it to show up as a bump. So there's that. I'm going to move over an 1/8 inch, and I'm going to score it again 3 times, and then another 1/8 inch and score it again 3 times. Now, this looks great. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. But what if we added interest by adding another set of score lines at the bottom? So I'm going to use the same spacing, 1/2 inch, 3 times, over an 1/8 inch, 3 times, over 1/8 inch again, 3 times. And now I have a really interesting background for my card. So I'm going to take and I'm going to add that to my Orchid Oasis layer. And I'm just going to add it with some glue. You can use whatever adhesive you like. So whatever you have, use it. And I'm trying to watch my spacing. Don't grab. It hasn't, but it wouldn't shift on me, so I'm going to pick it up. That's the advantage of glue. You get a little bit of wiggle room. Why does that one? Okay, there we go. That looks a little better. It was crooked on this one side. All right, that piece is then going to be added to my card base. All right, make sure you have a bone folder. It's a great way to give yourself a crisp fold. Now, you do need to be careful when you score. I just remembered this. You don't want to push so hard that it cuts the paper. So you just kind of, you got to play with it and see. So take some scrap paper and see what you can work out. All right, so now we're going to add that. All right. And now to add a little bit more interest, we're going to take and we're going to add some dots to this. Okay. And I've pulled in my parakeet party just to give it some green. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to randomly add a dot. You can do splatters if you want. The disadvantage to splatters, I will wait and see, is they go everywhere. As you can see, I did a very, very light dots, and they are inconsistent, so it's no big deal. All right, now let's get our flower put together first. So I'm going to take my large white and my large Orchid Oasis, and I'm going to stagger them like so. Then I'm going to take my small white and I'm going to stagger it also. All right. And then I'm going to put my sprocket in the center. Need a little bit more glue. There we go. Of this. This is when a pair of tweezers would be good. Oh, I dropped it. All right, I got it. And then I'm going to offset it also. It just adds a little bit of interest if you offset it. All right, there's that. All right, now let's get our pieces put together. And I'm going to grab my snips. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of trim up the side here so that it cuts off that piece. If you want the whole thing, just cut out the whole thing. I didn't. All right, now what I'm going to do is this is going to go down here in this corner. And I have not put a sentiment on. I probably won't put a sentiment on. I leave my cards for whatever occasion I want. All right, here we go. I'm going to try to do this without. All right, now this piece goes here. And I'm going to put a block on it so that it stays down. This is my next piece. No, this piece is my next piece. And this one is a challenge because it doesn't have a lot of space. All right. Again, I'm going to use my flower to kind of see where to put it. I'll move my block over. And then the last one is this one. And I'm going to focus on the top of this because I may be cutting it off. All right, let's see. There's no glue on that. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put my block on. Now, I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals because I think it would just make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to put one dimensional there. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to curl my petals up. I'm just kind of lifting them more than curling till I get down to the second layer. And then the last layer, I'm going to curl it the other way. I've been doing my bottom layer down and my other layers up, and it just gives it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to take the tip of my bone folder and pull up on my sprocket. Now a lot of this will take and flatten in the mail, but it still looks great. All right, now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it off right there. All right. And I'm going to take my back off of my dimensional and I'm going to put it right about there, and I can kind of pick it up a little bit. And there's how you can make a great card with minimal supplies. So check out your stash, see what you have. This probably should have been over a little bit more, but that's okay. Clustered it a little bit better. But, you know, if you want to add more dots, you can. I kind of like the dots that way. So there's a fun idea using just dies. And I use the negative to do some sponging, and I use the marker to trace the outline just for a little decoration inside. Just be careful and make sure you cover up the open spaces. I didn't, and I had a little overbleed. I hope this has given you an idea of looking at your dies and creating with them when you don't have a lot of supplies. Thanks for visiting me today. If you haven't, subscribe to my channel below. I would appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Bye.